What's up, everyone? On today's podcast, we are talking all about where do we go from here, both as a country, but also marketing-wise for your business. All right, we're going to jump into some strategies that may or may not work today, but we're going to really dive deep into strategies that are going to help you out for the future. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Contractor Growth Network. I'm Logan.
And I'm Alex.
And we're doing this virtually. If you are listening in on the podcast, you can't see it, but if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll realize we are not in our normal studio. We are in our respective apartments. Mm-hmm. It is the 25th of March at this point of the recording, and we have been officially kicked out of our office building. So the entire team is doing everything completely virtually. So thank God we already had a lot of the systems set up using project management software that we used in-house. So when everybody goes virtual, we're all already pretty used to this stuff. So it's not, from my side, I mean, Alex, you let me know, like, is this crazy? Like, is this any way different as far as like getting work done, you know, when we're all at home?
No, not really. I think for us, the first year and a half, I think everyone was remote really until I came on board and it was just me and you. So I think it just kind of reminds me of those times again. We were all kind of remote, having a talk through like Basecamp and other softwares.
Yeah, it's not that crazy different. And the topic of what we want to talk about today is how business will move forward after all of this, right? We're not even in the lull of it yet, or like the bottom. I mean, New York is still fighting for their lives effectively up there. So, you know, this stuff could all change in the next couple of weeks. But at this point, I mean, we're doing okay just because we're so used to doing everything online. So today is all about what's going to happen to businesses from here on out. Once we get past this, whether it's a few weeks from now or a few months from now, what happens next? So, Alex, in your opinion, what are some big changes? We'll just say business in general. And then what do you think is going to happen to the contracting industry as far as changes moving forward?
Well, start with just business in general. I think a lot with like breweries and restaurants, they're doing just strictly to go. I know some breweries here in Charlotte, you can do like to go kegs, to go 6-packs. Like that's something you would never do. You would have to go in there, stop, get a beer in the tap room, and then say, oh, can I have, you know, a 4-pack to go or something like that. Now it's just, you know, you're gonna have basically like a McDonald's drive-through at breweries now. I think that's gonna be a real thing because it's a moneymaker and you don't have to have that much overhead. Just have someone stand out there and grab it from the back. I know for chain restaurants, it's a little more similar to grab and go for on your app. I think those will even ramp up even more. People, especially for the few months after this all kind of subsides, you can go outside again and dine in. I don't think a lot of people are going to jump in on that. So I think restaurants are still going to have to do the same thing. But for contractors, I think a lot more people, as owners, they're going to be more over the phone and online. That virtual appointment is going to be key for the beginning, for the short term and the long term, because there's no excuse anymore to go out there to a customer's home and do the estimate now. If you could do it for months online or weeks online, you can do it moving forward. So that's going to be the future. And then really only have to show up when you want to start the project. You have to measure stuff out.
Yeah, the restaurant industry and the breweries here, especially, I mean, they've been like flipped completely as far as, you know, everything had to be come on in, and a lot of them didn't have online order software set up or anything. So it was literally just you had to come on in to get your food. And it's kind of like contractors that only rely on referrals. They don't have any online presence. There's nothing they can do online. You have to have a referral to find out that they even exist. And now that stuff is hitting the fan, these restaurants are like with their backs against the walls, they're having to scramble and do something different. So with this craziness that's happening, if there's a silver lining, it's now making them get off their butt and do something that they know they should have been doing for years now as a second form of revenue or stream of revenue. Because I mean, there's a lot of times that like these breweries get so freaking packed that it's not fun to go to, but we like their beer. So now if it's a Saturday in Charlotte and it's really nice and it's 4 p.m. and I want to go up and you know, drink somewhere with friends, but the brewery is nut to butt and you can't walk anywhere, around in it. Well, now to have this delivery option where they just have a person that just is in the back kind of filling, pony kegs or just having up like some nice like 4 or 6 packs, that's now an option. And we can come back here and hang out. So it really forced them to think outside the box. And now I think on the other side of this, they're going to actually see a huge uptick in revenue because now they have extra streams of income coming in.
Yeah, just imagine how hassling it was in college to get kegs. You'd have to go to a package store and get it, go through all these hassles. Now you can just go to your favorite brewery and get a keg of some good beer too, so yeah, it's going to change the game forever for them, especially. Yeah, and in like restaurants, I know it's going to be like, it's like the old lemonade stand when you were a kid. Like that's how it is now. You pull up, you ask for something, they go cook it, bring it right out to you. It's you almost like the dine in is almost kind of going to be obsolete, I think, because that's going to be a quicker way for people to just do everything.
And I think it's even less about, like, it's going to transition less from takeout to like curbside delivery. So you don't even have to get out of your car, which makes it even more appealing, because I know what it's like when I walk into a restaurant and I want to get, and I already have like the delivery waiting for me, but I still got to fight through the crowds if it's like a busy night versus just driving up, having like a little stand right there where you pull up and you say, this is my name, and they go, great, I'll go grab it, and they go grab the food for you. So it's becoming more and more like the Amazon model where you just order it and it just shows up. And that's kind of what's happening right now, is all these restaurants are now jumping on board with delivery services, and even if you do go pick it up, the people are walking in, the staff is walking in, grabbing it and walking it back out for you. So you don't even have to leave your car. Yeah. And people are going to get used to that convenience of things where they can get stuff done over the computer, over the phone, and not even have to get out of their car to deal with it. And it's going to be the same like with what Alex is saying with the contracting industry, where it's shifting more and more. And thank God, being so involved with the CSA, I mean, this has been 6 years of us doing this. We're so used to doing everything, and that's why we push all this online stuff, because it was all going to happen anyway. Everybody was going to move towards doing everything online, contractors selling online, contractors doing virtual estimates. But the scenario that we're all in the world right now, this has just springboarded it to the top of what you need to do. So if anything, I mean, CSA was prepared for it 6 years ago. And then with Full Sail, I mean, starting all this stuff 2.5 years ago at this point. So it's crazy, but like, I feel bad for all the people that are big on, like, oh, you got to get out there and you got to meet people and like their business, or like they're like an events-based business, because that's like how they do things, like these home and garden shows. What do they do this year? I mean, do they have a virtual home and garden show? I don't think so.
No, I mean, that's like something Marcus Sheridan said that really stuck with me was, when things are going well, complacency sets in. Like, change isn't as easy because, oh, we're doing well, we don't need to change. But now that you have to change just to stay afloat for however long this is going to be, you have to move everything to online. You have to move everything to virtual. So that's where the biggest change, that's where you're going to see those companies that have that leadership, that have those processes kind of already in place and are willing to change. They have those ideas. They'll thrive through this. And like you said, the CSA has been doing this for 6 years. I mean, I know I watched their YouTube video or their last podcast, and everyone that's in the CSA that knows the process, hey, you're good because you've been doing this for 6 years. Everybody else is struggling to do this for what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks now, but you've known this for 6 years. So they're already light years ahead of every other business out there, it seems like.
Yeah, it's cool that's the case. The only problem I'm still seeing is I'm still seeing people say stuff like, with all this video, that like now you have, like, video is not an option to not do. But I still see people say like, yeah, I just got to get on this video thing, right? And I'm like, are you serious? Like, of all the things right now and going on in the world, you're still nervous to get on video? Like, if there is a time to do it, it's now. And if you can't motivate yourself to do it now, you're SOL. Like, you're just not going to be around in business. So people are still hesitant. They're still getting nervous. But in fact, there's no other way to promote yourself right now other than doing it online. So
yeah. I mean, a pandemic is when you're supposed to, like, oh, Like this is the dire needs. You know, this is when you need to do everything that all your money you saved up, you know, everything like that. This is that rainy day. You know, this is the pandemic. That's why you do it. That's why you have backup, you know, for this type of situation. So if you're not, like you said, if you're not getting on board now, what's it going to take to get you on board? I mean, this is ridiculous.
This is it. Like, this is the shot that you've got. And a lot of people are still like, yeah, I've just been busy. I'm like, busy doing what? Like,
You don't have
you're
to
at
house.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you are literally at home. And it's great that a lot of people are jumping on, you know, hey, like, I'm going to hang out with my family and I'm going to take this time, which is like a fantastic idea. But a lot of the stuff that we've been preaching for years now, it's like to shoot a video. Like we have that 6-week YouTube challenge right now with the contractors, and they're still, you know, like, oh yeah, like I've just, you know, I can't get the video out. It takes too long. And I'm like, these videos to set up the actual tripod and mic, it takes like, I don't know, 90 seconds. And then to actually say the video itself, you're only speaking for 90 seconds again. To break it down to another 90 seconds, that's 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not like we're asking you to block out an entire day. And I'm not naive, and I know that a lot of people, like when they first start video, they do multiple takes. And when I say multiple, it's like 30 or 40 takes because they get so nervous and they mess up and they're not quite comfortable with you know, like just doing like the one take wonder and getting it over with. But this stuff does not take that long. It's just, what do you prioritize right now? And if you're prioritizing your own comfort by not getting on video, then you're potentially sacrificing the longevity of your business, because you have to be online, you have to be promoting your brand, and this is really going to change everything. And right now, like, again, thank God we've been promoting this whole long-term brand building stuff, which is, if you think about the industry that we're in, I mean, we've always said, like, we don't do any contracting company that's like immediate need, and we're all about long-term relationships. And right now, with homeowners not really buying from you know, contractors, or it's all the immediate needs are slow. All the long-term stuff, everybody's sitting at home. I mean, we're just with the clients that we're doing stuff with, especially people that we're doing like paid advertising with, we're just building the pipeline for the future. And it's stupid cheap right now how inexpensive a lot of these long-term leads are coming in. So it's, for us, it's like, you want to talk about, you know, silver lining. Like, this is kind of what we've been doing for 2.5 years, between this and then all the CSA stuff, and like this whole, like, you have to do everything from home. Like, this is it. Like, now if you had on the other side of things, if they would have had like, oh yeah, like there's a virus, but it's not an actual like physical virus, it's like all the computers in the world are down, our company would be out of business. It would be the opposite. We'd be screwed. But you know, we're fortunate enough that the worlds that we operate in, whether it's CGN, FSM, CSA, any of those 3-letter acronyms, we're good.
Yeah. It's, you know, I think like for us, we're way more focused on the long-term contracting industry. I think that's like, it's getting to a point in a lot of states. I know New York, California, Washington, now Charlotte. That's kind of all you can do right now, you know, is play for the long term whenever this is over. So it kind of falls in our favor a little bit, and in our clients' favor, that that's really all you can do. It's not like you need your roof shingled right now, you know. It's not like a natural disaster that it has to, you know, come about. So that is a little silver lining to all this. I agree with you, but yeah, it's crazy times, man. It's crazy, and I think everybody moving forward, you know, if you're using this time to just watch Netflix, play the new Call of Duty, do all this stuff, you're not taking advantage of the opportunity to get ahead of your competition. Because I know a lot of people that would just stay at home. That's it, take your time, and you should take your time with your family. This is a good, you know, wake up call if you're not doing that. But you also have to take your work hours and really put your energy in something different, like learning video, learning how to do your online appointments better, you know, CSA, Shinfuing, you know, join something that's going to help you in the long run after this, because harping on that negative, that's not going to help your business at all.
Do you watch, like, does the news mess you up? Like, when you watch it, like, especially, I mean, you're from New York.
Yeah.
Right? You're from Long Island, where people that are getting out of the city are now going to Long Island. So it's not, and you know, like your girlfriend's sister,
Mm-hmm.
has coronavirus. Like it's just like, so you're like, out of everybody that works for us, you are probably closest to the epicenter of all this. So are you able to watch the news? Like, does it freak you out, or are you cool with it? Like, what's your head when you watch this stuff?
So, you know, it's not necessarily the news. I listen to Trump's briefings pretty often when they come up, and that's probably the only news I can really take now. I think just because every news outlet wants to make this a twisting story, and there's some politics involved, but besides that, it's just, I only really believe what, Governor Cuomo or, President Trump say, because that's really all that matters. Like NBC, CNN, they can all say what they want, but their opinion really doesn't do anything at the end of the day. So I try to tune it out. I talk to my dad pretty often, trying to like see what it's like in the trenches, how people are actually reacting. And they've been on lockdown for like a week and a half already. So I mean, they're pretty much, used to it. I mean, everything's kind of shut down, everything's kind of isolated. My sister's like a sonogram nurse, so she's still kind of in the trenches doing what she can do with cancer patients. But yeah, I mean, I try to think I'm a positive person, so I try not to really harp that that's going to be it. But you know, when they say it's bad, that's when I'll say, yeah, we have to worry. But I mean, it's bad, but they're saying, there's an outlook on it, that the curve will go down, and they'll deal with it. So the news is, I mean, Donald Trump's made this fake news claim for 3 years, 3.5 years of presidency. So I really try to stay away from like that bias. So
Yeah, I don't, I can't, well, I don't, so I watch some of this stuff, but it's really more of just like a recap. And I look at it and I'm like, okay, this stuff looks pretty serious. Let me stay inside. And by staying inside, I mean, I'm in right now a 680 square foot apartment. All I can do is really eat and work. Like,
mhm,
that's it. So if anything for me, it's like I see it, I'm like, well, I can't go out, can't do all this other fun stuff, so I might as well just make this stuff happen, because I know everybody, a lot of people are kind of nervous right now of what's going to happen with their business and this and that. And like, I had this discussion with you guys the other day where it's like, if God forbid for some reason we run out of cash or whatever and we got to shut down, like I don't want to look back and be like, you know what, we could have done X, Y, and Z more and pushed a little bit harder, we would have been fine, but we just didn't capitalize. So like for me, if anything, that's like it's almost like a motivator that I realize, like, okay, like there's stuff out there, there's nothing I can do about it except for stay inside. And if I'm gonna stay inside, I might as well, rock with this stuff and just push the envelope. So the news
yeah,
itself doesn't bother me. Like I know a lot of people like will watch it for a long time. I usually watch it for maybe 15 minutes. I like the New York governor. Like I like watching him because
mhm,
he's unbelievably like real and raw with it. It was cool to
yeah,
watch his brother interview him.
mhm,
Um, so
yeah,
I like watching it because he's literally in the heart of it all, at the epicenter of it all, and he's like so far past politics, it seems like. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but he's
no,
just like blunt about it. He's like, this is
yeah.
what we need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where a lot of respect for him has come, because he realizes the severity of it. Like I don't really know the ins and outs of what bills have been passed or not, but um, those are clearly senators or House representatives that their states may not have been hit as hard, and he knows my state's been hit the hardest, so we need to get some help, we need to get some aid, we need to set some things up. And it's politics aside, this is bigger than politics. So yeah, I'm 100% on you with that. He's very raw, and I listen to that. And if you go down the Twitter sphere and Twitter hole, you'll find some conspiracy theories. You'll find some things that'll make you think we're never getting
Yeah.
out. This is the
Yeah.
world. I try to shut myself off from that and just watch sports highlights on Twitter now. It's just whatever Trump and Cuomo say, and that's it.
Yeah, and the thing with a lot of this also is, I mean, we're doing it, and we'll talk about this at the end. We're doing it. Lots of other programs are doing it, where they have all these online teaching platforms that usually cost money, but
hmm
they're opening it up for free right now, just because they realize that like you can either sit here and do nothing for the next 2 months, or you can learn a skill that's like a lifelong skill. Like I think Yale just opened up their most popular class, which is like the fundamentals of being happy in life. And they made it like I don't know if it was always online or if they made it online, but either way, anybody can take it.
Oh wow.
So they have cool stuff like that. And then a lot of the paid programs that we here at Full Sail learn how to do marketing with, a lot of them open up stuff for free just to go, look, you might as well. you know, and that's
Yeah.
what we're doing with our blueprint, where it's usually a paid program, paid group, but right now it's open for free because we realize that like everybody's kind of in it together, and you can either sit there and just watch the news over and over and over, and it does no good because you're going to come out of this, you know, at the same time, regardless of what you're consuming on TV, or you can come out of this and go, all right, I learned this is how people buy, this is what it takes online, this is what we're doing for this, and actually like have a lifelong skill that teaches you like the psychology of customer buying habits, whether it's digital, whether it's offline, whether in 10 years we have virtual reality, you still understand the psychology behind it. And if you can do that, then people will buy from you because you'll know exactly what to do instead of just looking for tactics. And it's crazy that this had to happen, but people are actually now stepping back and doing all the stuff that they should have been doing for years, but they were just too complacent because business was good. And those that put in like a little bit of the extra time, a little bit of the extra effort, Premier Ponds, for example, they're having the best year they've ever had still. Leads are still coming in. The lighting company that we have, Premier Outdoor Lighting, I talked to Andrew yesterday, and we've been building that thing, and we were ready to say, okay, it's been 2 years, and the leads we've gotten from it just haven't been good. And Andrew called me and said, whatever you guys are doing, we are getting great leads. People are willing to spend the money. They know what the stuff costs, and it really is just all the extra effort that they've been putting in. And now, because they've been building the brand, now it's all coming to fruition. Now it's all working. And those that have been kind of just sitting back and letting other people, you know, refer the work to them, or doing nothing online, or buying leads online, those are the ones that are hurting right now because brands make it through this stuff, but companies that sit behind the scenes and don't focus on media, those are the ones that are going to have the toughest time.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to ask you. It seems like I see a lot more promotional offers coming out and like, you know, deals coming out now for people to buy some things. Is that something you would recommend to maybe contractors or small business owners to do? Where I feel like a lot of people would kind of hunker down on their pricing, but maybe this is an opportunity to get people on board to what you're selling more as a deal.
Yeah, that's a good question. So right now, the way that a lot of these companies are doing it, let's just take the restaurant industry, for example. All right. So let's just say you have a restaurant that right now they're doing get a free set of a dozen wings with any order that you put in, or even minimum of, let's say, $15. Well, it costs the restaurant $1.40 to produce the 12 wings all in, between the actual food, the time it takes, all that stuff. And by giving away something for $1.40, a family's ordering $50 worth of food.
Yeah.
So is $1.40 worth making $50 for restaurants? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now for the contracting industry, and that's an immediate thing. You got to think about what people are focused on right now. And if you look at like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right now everybody's in the very bottom of that pyramid, which is it's like food, water, shelter, and security. I think yeah, I might have messed that last one up, but
yeah, toilet paper.
Yeah. So that's what everybody's going for right now. So you got to, I mean, food falls into that category. So restaurants are still going to operate. Now, does a brand new kitchen remodel fall into that boat? Probably not. I mean, there's still people out there that are still, I mean, we have another client that just yesterday, he sold 2 kitchens in a basement over the phone yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. So there are still people out there buying. It's just way less volume. There's way less people doing it. So the leads are slowing down, especially for the inside stuff. But with your question of promotions, it needs to be something that is scrappy enough, in the sense that people want to take action today. Because with food, you got to eat food, and you're getting sick of your own cooking, so you can literally drive to the restaurant 4 minutes away, have somebody walk it out to you, and you get free wings with that. No brainer. But with let's say a brand new kitchen, unless you've been thinking about this for a while, then it's going to be tougher to get somebody, and when I say you, I mean the homeowner, it's going to be tougher for somebody to buy today. But you can do certain things, like we're messing around with trying like a 10% off coupon if you just get a virtual estimate now. You can use your 10% off coupon, so down the road, whatever you want. Right now, candidly, like I don't think we might have had like a couple people come in, but like it's not near effective enough. So that just means that people are not, the 10% off, as a homeowner is not enough for them to want to give somebody a call right now because it's not even on their radar.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I mean, I'm in the middle of an apartment search, and I'm thinking that prices are going to go down. No one's buying, a house, or no one's renting an apartment. And while there are some good specials out there, a lot of them have kind of stayed, put or even raised. So I mean, I guess that's not something that's very on people's needs if they don't need to move, or that the housing market's not really on their radar. So yeah, I mean, I think you're right. The immediate needs of restaurants and food and drinks, and liquor stores are an essential business. So it's those type of deals. That's kind of where I think you'll find most of them. But I
yeah.
have seen softwares like, I know you sent one for Basecamp, and Adobe's had like deals that you can get like almost half off of what the normal price would be if you sign up now. So
And a lot of those are things that people can use and want to use right now with, let's say, contracting. Like realistically, I think that like somebody who's going to get, buy a kitchen right now, they're going to do it whether you give them 10% off or not. So I
yeah.
think either the deal has to be so good that they're like, what, screw it, I'll buy it right now. And a
Hmm.
lot of those deals, those are things that it's not going to play out in your favor. Because if you give 50% off a kitchen, then it's up to you to, and somebody buys it right now, you got to somehow make up that that money that you're missing out on.
Yeah.
And the way to do that is to upsell throughout the rest of the house. So if okay, if I do 50% off a kitchen, but I know that I'm so good at upselling that I can also do 2 bathrooms, a basement finishing, and all the siding on their house, well, maybe that's worth it. But you got to know that going in, because a lot of these promotions, like with the wings offer, right? Wings itself, if they said free wings with any order, and I said, great, I want to get a dozen wings, and I also want 1 cherry Coke, the restaurant's going to lose money. So you got
Yeah.
to kind of play with that mindset. So I would say in the contracting world, like dropping your prices right now, the people that are going to buy from you are going to buy from you whether you give them 10% off or not. So you're going to get less at bats. So keep the prices the same as they are. But if you do want to go with the promotional offer, it's going to have to be so good that people are going to want to buy it right now, and that may hurt your business in the long run. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
You
we did the
raised
10%. Yeah, go ahead.
raised a good point. Like, if they're gonna buy just because you have 10% off, they were gonna buy anyway. You know.
Unless they were like right there and they like needed it. But yeah, usually like a lot of those offers, like if they're not that strong, they were going to do it anyway, and they just needed like a little bit of a push. But I think right now, I just think people are like so far from wanting to buy something like that, that they either are going to buy it regardless, or they're they need a big push. So that's why we tried the 10% off thing. We haven't really gotten many bites from it because I think it's that scenario where people are either going to do the work, whether it's 10% off or not. But if we had 50% off, I'm sure we'd be able to get a bunch of people in because they realize at some point I got to do it, but at what cost to the company?
Yeah, and that might not be, that deal will never probably come back about again. So
Right.
that's a once in a lifetime chance for them to get it for 50% off. So
Yeah. So I would say for that point, I would say if you want to do some sort of promotional offer, the only thing with like a lot of these companies, like software companies, is it's more scalable in the
yeah,
sense that the cost to them of getting on a couple other, some more people at 50% off isn't much higher, because all I have to do is create a login for somebody else. But the cost to a contractor, where the parts, just the actual like materials of the job is half of the total job cost. If you give it all away for 50% off, well, now you're in the red, because
yeah,
you still got to pay labor, you still got to do overhead, and now you're hurting. So I would say I would advise against it unless you have some sort of like smaller offer where it's like the 10% off just for a virtual estimate, just to see if that works. But if you try to find a short-term solution that is so heavy that it gets everybody on board, it may hurt you in the long run. So you just got to really think about that.
yeah. Do you think after all this and this smoke clears, you think a lot of companies will raise prices a little bit to make up for lost time?
That's a good question. So I realistically think when all this is said and done, I think the economy is going to take off again where it was. I think people are going to be so sick of being in their house, but they're still not quite ready to go for vacations or travel. So I think those industries are still going to hurt. I think it's going to be what happened like after 9/11, where everybody put all their money into their homes. So I think that's going to happen big time. And as far as the raising of the prices go, I don't know about necessarily raising prices. I think what's going to happen is I realistically think a lot of contractors are going to, when this is all said and done, freak out, drop prices just to get some cash in the door at all. And they're going to get a lot of the bottom of the barrel people.
Yeah.
That are just like sitting at home. They're going to, see, oh, great deal, let me do that. And then people that actually have the money and want to spend money, they're going to be okay with spending it for higher end contractors that don't drop the price low. So I think people are going to freak out, try to get a quick cash grab, get that, do it very cheaply, because they're just they're literally just struggling, reaching for anything. And I think the contractors that stay put or raise a little bit, I think they're going to get the higher end clientele that aren't going to spend that extra money on a vacation this year, and they're willing to put that towards hiring a higher end contractor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot of airlines will not make it out of this. I just think not many people are going to take that risk to fly. And I think you're right. I think it's going to be more of a let's upgrade our staycations destination than anything. I know my dad's personally putting even more into the landscaping of our summer home or beach house on Long Island. So I mean that's kind of where his efforts are going to instead of going to Europe or
Right.
anything. So that's kind of where that money he's going to put it into something else that other years might not have that opportunity. So.
And I think a lot of the people that drop the prices, I think they're going to be booked out pretty far, and they're going to be pumped because they're like, cool, yep, I got work for the next year. Yeah, we had to give up 20, 30% and we dropped prices, but we got work and it's stability. And then when the people that come in the second wave that have all the money, because this is what happens in landscaping is when somebody moves into a new home and they usually don't, like this is like they're like, especially this happens with ponds, for example, is they move into a home and they don't know when the right time is to clean their pond. So they usually start to reach out early February to get their pond clean. And all the pond clients we work with know that the early February people are those that are new to this. They're not going to pay the prices because they don't know what it's like to have a pond. So they kind of just deal with the early February people, and they know once the mid-March people come around, those are the people that actually have, invested in their pond before. So they're way more likely to spend the money. So I think that's what's going to happen here is the people that as soon as this thing starts to let up a little bit, I think they're going to start to go, okay, great, let's do this to the house, let's do that to the house. More, we could refinance the house right now because it's super cheap, so we're getting all this money. Let's put it towards, I don't know, a remodel, and they're going to go for the cheap guys. And then once the seasoned vets that are okay with remodeling their home come out of the woodwork, they're going to be way more willing to spend the money.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think you're right. I think people that know a lot about what's going to happen, I think they're going to act and act more swiftly than I think most people realize. I definitely think with the economy standpoint, 100% right. That'll come back. It'll fix itself. And I just hope it's not a long layoff for people. I really hope that you could eventually go out and get like an exterior paint job or clean your pond. Something that might not include coming into the home, but something that on the exterior can actually get something done because the weather's going to be nice fairly soon. So that all that will be able to be done pretty swiftly. So.
Yeah, I know for us, like ponds and landscape people that we work with, they're still good. I mean, they're rocking and rolling because that's kind of like their sanctuary.
Yeah.
So
and
it's just,
nobody wants to be out there when you're on the lawn anyway, or building the pond anyway. So I mean, why not?
Yeah, exactly. So some industries are still doing well, and we're still getting a bunch of leads in, and other ones we're just saying, look, nobody wants you in their home right now, or it's very tough to. So either you got to start to sell design work, or you got to give out design work, or start to really build for the future. And that's really what we're doing more of is people are at home, there's a lot more people on social media, and we're just getting tons of people added to clients' databases for the long term. And these people are either going to buy or die because we're just going to add them to email nurture campaigns. And eventually when it's time for them to remodel their kitchen or repaint their bathroom, they're going to be getting email after email from our client, and they're good to go. So it's actually, and from our side of things, it's super cheap getting them in. So for $1.50 right now, you can add somebody to your database, and when you do all the email marketing stuff, you've effectively just, you had to wait a little bit longer because they were earlier on in the buying process, but you get clients for way, way, way cheaper because you're hitting them at a time when it's cheap to get them early on in the door versus waiting until they're ready to buy today.
Yeah, I was about to say that you're going to find a lot more people on your advertising funnel, and a lot more, Facebook ads are going to be, people are going to have that in their bank, because that's all they're on. All they're on is social media and their. So I mean, you're going to have a lot more people coming into your funnel for sure. You're a lot more people are seeing.
Exactly, that's what we're doing right now. Is we're just focusing on the really early on people, or like the middle of the road people, because the end of the road people, it's tougher to get them right now. It's not like they're not out there, because they are out there, but it's just fewer and further in between. So instead of putting in all of our efforts into getting a couple people in the door today, we can put all of our efforts into getting a lot of people in the door in the future.
Yeah, 100%. Long game. That's the goal right now.
Cool. So with that being said, we mentioned it earlier, if you do want to go and use the next month, I'll just put that number out there, I guess. Actually, I guess it's up until April 15th, but we're doing all the blueprint is free for you to join. You get complete access to the course, you get complete access to the free webinars, you get access to the interactive Facebook group. If you want to get in that and learn more about marketing and how to do it for your contracting business, if you head over to contractorgrowthnetwork.com/blueprint, cgn.com/blueprint, then you'll go ahead and get added. You can go ahead and join right there, no credit card required, and you'll really make the best use of the time that you're sitting at home. So you might as well learn a skill that is going to, especially if you plan on being in the contracting world for the foreseeable future, learn something new. So
yeah,
easy enough?
Yeah, easy.
All right, cool. All right, guys, and if you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor, please hit the like button. Helps us out big time, algorithm-wise. And if you're on a podcast, just let us know how we're doing with the review. That would be super dope.
Yeah, look us up on Facebook, our new Facebook.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, let's make that the call to action. If you're on a podcast, we do have, Alex, you make that plug, because that's really what we want you to do.
Yeah, we have this Facebook page called the Contractor Growth Network Podcast. We want you guys to just ask to be in there. We'll be asked 2 questions: what you want to see on the podcast and what industry you're in. And be active, guys. We want to hear what you guys want to listen to. We want to talk about it and kind of get you guys more interactive. And join that. Leave your review in that group. Let us know how we're doing. Even if we suck, I want to know. So.
Yeah, and the whole point of that is just to be able to talk about this stuff, because I know we preach it and it's usually more of a one-sided conversation, but to actually be able to interact and talk about these principles, because a lot of what we're doing is conceptual. But then when you go, great, how do I actually do it? That's your chance to learn a bit more about that stuff. So check it out. Super cool group that we're spearheading, and hopefully we see you there.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. See you guys.
See ya.